Hey guys, welcome to episode 33 of the Motor Marvel Car Talk. So today we have ourselves a very special guest.
We have Jeff. So Jeff is our winner from our recent Cars and Coffee event. He won Best Car and Show because he had an astonishing Land Rover.
It was very cool.
So you had a very, very nice Land Rover. And you know what the thing is, like the boys said, you came out even when it was raining. It has no roof.
It was very impressive.
It was impressive. It's like, I remember Mitch saying to us, give that man the prize. Like, for him to come out when it's raining with no roof, mate, he deserves
with
it.
that car as well,
Yeah, it's certainly a considered kind of piece, right? You know, what is the weather happening? What are we doing? I think I messaged you on Instagram and said, are we doing this? And then, of course, Mrs. SuitByDay was very kind to agree to come out regardless of the weather as well. So, but a terrific day.
Yeah, it was. So Jeff was the winner of the hard hat watch, which he's got on.
Absolutely, I was. Thank you.
But there's a bit more about Jeff. So Jeff, talk to us about your business that you got, SuitByDay. Then we'll go over to the cars that you own and like what you've done to your Land Rover.
Yeah, look, it's so relatively new, SuitByDay, as a channel. I think the name hopefully speaks for itself.
You do suits?
I do suits, made to measure for you boys, of course. So we'll talk about that after. Inner leg measuring and all. The idea behind it, to be fair, was I'm in retail. I look after a retail brand as my job.
Wow.
And so I'm in a general manager position. So I do wear a suit by day, all day, every day. I think the premise came about that I enjoy cars. I enjoy the passion. I enjoy restoration. I enjoy DIY kind of business at home as well. So it was, how do you kind of combine the two? Because when people do
suits
look
and
at
cars,
me,
I don't know if
exactly.
Okay.
So it's a little bit like an alter ego, I guess, right? I think I have to have so much structure and peace during the day, and people have that viewpoint that that's him. And then when I go home, how I decompress, spend time with the three boys that we have, is to get in and enjoy cars and get dirty and do all the things that you can't do in a suit.
100%.
So it's and it's still super surprising to people that I actually do that and enjoy all of those kind of things.
Because they probably see you on your daily all dressed up looking schmick and they go, oh, this guy goes and gets dirty.
He gets dirty, grease,
and then works come to work on a Monday in a board meeting and grease everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So it was a way of capturing, I guess, that you can do both.
Yeah.
It's okay, to you shouldn't let your passion kind of get in the way of doing something else or vice versa.
Yeah, love that.
So it started with cars, and I think that the real underlying bit, to be fair, was that I had learnt what I do know from friends and great inspirations, I guess, as well throughout it, but more so from YouTube as well, right? Because I'm not a mechanic. I don't have a trade at all in that experience or anything like that, but I'll give anything a go. And so YouTube really was how I learnt all the pieces
phenomenal.
that I did.
Yeah, it goes to show you these days, right? Like, look what you can do.
Exactly.
Off what videos, YouTubing.
And you don't have to be an expert. It's just get out there, give it a go.
Hat off to you, like to do that, because I feel like me and Nick always speak about if we had to get to the point where we're like the boys from Top Gear and we build a car.
Yes.
I'm more likely going to be the person with a hammer to the engine.
Look,
That's
there is that.
He'd be the one timing me up and going, "You're not touching crap."
There's all of that, and I think that was kind of the thing behind the channel, was to show that you don't. I think there's experts that are on there. There's not really anyone kind of at the other end of it. So
that's fair. That's a very niche, and it's cool.
Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of mucking around and certainly heaps of mistakes, and I think I really created it so that I can kind of share and give back as well, right? Because I think it's super important from a community standpoint.
Correct, yeah, why not?
Do the boys get involved?
They do, absolutely.
That's That is cool.
Yeah, and it's nice to get them away from the screens and do all that kind of stuff.
Totally agree.
Bit of father-son bonding time.
All of
Probably a few maybe contentious moments as well.
Look, there's some time where I'm certainly like, no, Dad needs to be in here by himself.
I need my time.
Correct, but those small hands getting into different engine bays and
when
spots.
When you drop the bolt somewhere. And
always, absolutely.
That's definite benefits.
Speaking of which, so the Land Rover you built.
Yes.
You've done that all yourself.
Yeah, it's yes, and it's a proud piece to talk about, to be honest, because I didn't have any experience in cars, and we can kind of start back to where all that kind of started from me. Once we get past the Rover itself, but it was a project that I wanted to throw myself into. I like to keep myself busy. I'm busy all the time. If I don't have something, idle hands, the work of the devil kind of thing. So, and I wanted something unique. And we wanted a ute to kind of mess around with and something unique, which
Oh, it is unique.
It certainly
It's
is.
I was gonna say,
certainly.
sounds like
It
it's
is.
ticking a lot of boxes.
It is.
Sorry,
So,
I'll put the photos up here, guys, so you can see it.
so she's a 1956 Land Rover Series 1.
Yep.
And I wanted to, get into something that I could spend time with and didn't have a time frame on it and learn everything
Yep.
about the car itself. So from mechanical to the actual restoration itself. And it's been, a thoroughly enjoyable experience.
From start to
Very
finish,
rewarding.
how long?
It's 12 months, which doesn't sound like a long time, but I'm talking where I was able to take weeks off at a time
Yeah.
and just completely dedicate.
Because
Wow.
12 months is a
14
very
hours
short
at a
time.
time.
That is a short time.
I was
Just-
expecting
Yeah.
to say 5 or 10 years.
No, it's and it's kind of in two stages. So the first stage was to get it mechanically running.
So it wasn't running when you bought it.
Not well.
Right.
It was.
It's a 1950s.
Yeah. So kind
And
of
it is British.
run. Correct. And to learn all of that, I mean, to start with the measurements on bolts, right?
Yeah.
So I pulled out what I had, which is the metrics and SAEs. Well, they don't use that, right?
Yep.
So they use completely different threads. So okay, there's an educational bit to start with.
Yep.
And then such a basic engine, which again for me I thought perfect, right?
Easy.
It's
What
what is
was
it? It's air, fuel, spark, right? What else could it be?
Can't be too difficult.
But then you look at an air filter, and it's not the traditional air filter. It's in an oil bath, and so learning how does
Wow.
that actually work itself.
Yep.
So pulling that apart, I didn't have any experience with a carby. Right, so what happens when the carbies go? So all right, so let's rebuild and learn about jets and do all of that.
Oh,
So look, went through all of that, got her up and running, and the idea was we'll keep it how it is. Right?
Yes, yes,
It looks okay and it's fine.
Yeah.
But then you start to look and there's some rust in it, and,
And
you
you're
know,
like,
it's all
oh,
the
might as
hidden
well
pieces.
just pull everything apart.
While I'm in it,
A little bit of perfectionism here, and you want to
there might be a little bit of that, yeah.
just a tad.
So the first thing is let's get the roof off, right? Because it came as a cab.
Right, fair enough.
So and then the cab's off, and then of course you're like, well, I'm thoroughly enjoying this whole
Process.
no roof off
Yeah, so
bit as well. So I was, getting it back to bare metal. So, and I think what I'd learned from it is there's only two components in that car that's actually steel, right? So it's the bulkhead, right, and the chassis. The rest of the car is Burma Bright, which is this aluminium
So, yeah, what is-
material.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the
Wow.
Burma Bright is so post World War II. There was a surplus of this material from the planes over in the UK, and they thought, well, we need to do something. We've got to stir the economy again. So they made them for tractors.
Yep.
And that's essentially basically what this car is, to be fair. It's an agricultural tractor that burps and does all of those things
fair enough.
and doesn't answer, and all of the other bits that go along with it. So it didn't have that much from there. It was really the bulkhead.
Yep.
So it's
That's interesting. Yeah, it's a bit of history there as well. You probably, I suppose, a fair bit of enjoyment even finding probably some of that stuff out, right?
Absolutely.
When you're going down these paths and you find, okay, well, it's not that, it's this, it's this, it's this, and it's all these different things.
Yeah.
For me, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, I think that was a very big part of the enjoyment of it. How many of them were ever made? Because you don't really see them.
So how many were made?
So I don't think I've ever
That's a
seen
great question, Sal. So
Like Nick makes a good point. I have
I
not.
don't think I've ever seen one. Yeah.
Sure.
Like when you rocked up, I was just like, "Whoa, what is that?" I'm like, "That is unique."
they started in 1948, and that was the Series 1 kind of piece.
Yep.
And this particular variant, so the 109, so it's the longest wheelbase variant, the 80, the 88, the 107s, and then this is the 109, was only in 1954. And 1956, and they did 1,100 and something of them only at that time. So super rare even then.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see another
That's
one
what I'm
running.
saying. I have not seen one.
But they wouldn't have even been delivered here.
So this one was. So there were a small amount
I was gonna say,
that
it
were
must have been a
actually
tiny
delivered
amount.
here. They were the CKDs, right? So
So
the complete knockdowns that get sent here.
Yeah.
And then pressed with the Sydney metal, wherever they are,
Yeah.
those guys, and all put together, which again was something that in rubbing it all back, I was able to find all of
Some
the
of this stuff.
original plates and the dates and all of that. So the original number of how many out of the 1,100 that it was,
I was actually numbered
which
as
is
well.
part of it. Yeah, it's tremendous to be able to find all of that.
That's
Right?
just for
That's
pretty
that's
cool.
kind of the gold, right? In terms
Yeah.
of when you're peeling all of it back. So
Right.
So how did you get your hands on it?
yeah, so it was. I've been
another story?
searching for some time.
Yeah.
Right, I knew that I wanted that variant around that kind of lineage because they were the most unique ones. Lots of Series 2s and Series 3s, right? They're great, but the Series 1 was what I was after. collecting cars, so online auction site.
Yes, no collecting cars.
Oh, we know collecting cars, yes.
So I saw it and it was incorrectly advertised. Now, incorrectly advertised,
Benefiting you?
100%.
That is awesome.
So
Jeff gets there and goes, oh yeah, this is the right car, correct.
it had the incorrect year, it had the incorrect model, and because I was a bit of a nerd at that point around them,
Yeah.
I straight away, I
You've got to
knew,
jump
and
on
I
this.
was like,
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
like, it's the proverbial hen's teeth, right? Like, talk about the barn find. This
That was a barn find.
It was a farm find, so absolutely, I was like, I've got to get on this. So I set myself a little budget, and I thought, oh, let's see.
Yep.
Ridiculous, to be honest. It was fantastic. So grabbed it. It was on the farm, so then to get it moved and then to get it trucked up and go through all of those kind of
But it was in
processes.
Australia.
It was, yeah,
Right.
down in the Mornington Peninsula.
Oh, wow.
It's a nice story in that it's a third owner, two generations or two owners within the same family.
Wow.
So that's a lot of nice
She's
stories
been
to
around
kind of
for a
go
long
with
time.
that. Yeah. So brought it up to Sydney and the kind of fun started.
And you've built it from scratch with YouTube.
Yeah, so my best mate's a diesel mechanic, and so there was a lot of phone call
how much
around.
did you annoy him?
Hang on, constant.
Did you have enough of
into
him
the
in the end?
fact, well, that I then flew him in because I'll do any of it. So all of the ridiculous wire brushing and getting down to all of that kind of stuff. The welding is something that I'm yet to kind of jump into.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I
mastered that
have
yet?
the patience for that either.
No, and I think that's one bit that you could definitely tell if it's not done right
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
And this was part right along on the bulkhead. So
You'd want it done right.
yeah, so he came over and we that's where we spent a week.
Wow.
And with him, I think that week of what we got done was probably 2 months, to be fair. Of what I could have done on my own because we were 14-hour days. I watered him with beer, so
Absolutely.
he was.
That's
it was
some commitment from you guys.
That's
though,
a
to be
big
fair.
commitment to take like time off work, time off family, and just commit to
and
a
to
car.
get it done.
Wow.
So that was that bit, and then he flew back home, and then I continued on with all of those pieces, the windscreen, and even down to the washer wiper motors, right? These individual components, you're pulling them apart, and there's 3 gears in there. It's like a watch, and being able to keep it as original as possible was really
Was your
important
goal.
to me as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did you have to source much for it? As far as parts, and how
Yeah.
how was that?
It's very tricky. So, and I think again, the reason for the YouTube videos is because I couldn't find much because it's so old.
Yeah, well, that's it.
So
Right? You
try
get to
and
that
get
age
it.
of car, and what
Yeah.
it is, it's like it's rare, it's old.
Yes.
Where am I going to find anything?
Yeah,
Like,
and it's from the UK, so
Yeah.
parts are expensive,
Yeah.
right, to get them in.
And the engine's all original.
So it's matching engine, matching chassis.
Wow.
So
there was
it
never a
adds to
temptation
it.
to put like a.
Oh, of course, the first
Yeah.
one was, well, it was, let's put a TD5 in it, right? That was kind of the original
I'm
thought.
thinking like putting LS3 in it.
Sure, so you and
Come on, Sam.
yeah,
you and your V8s, mate.
yeah.
I love my V8s.
At least I thought if I could keep it in kind of the Defender kind of thing with
Would
a
make a bit of
TD5,
sense.
Jaguar
maybe.
V12.
Come on, mate.
Why not?
I mean, there's
Don't
some
listen to
room.
me.
I don't know how much room's in there, but
Yeah, not that much, I don't think.
no, I think once I found out that it was matching, right, and all of that, I
Yeah.
thought let's try and do its justice as best I could. So
And
I didn't.
That's value too, right? When you've got a
Yeah.
car that you've restored the way you have, and it's
Yes.
got matching chassis, engine, all the rest of
Yes.
it.
100%.
it's
Like
a-
in all
Okay.
seriousness,
It's a
that's
very
like
flexible car.
when you do something like that, the car becomes then priceless
Yeah.
because you cannot.
Yes.
Yeah. But Nick is right. Once you start chopping and changing things, swapping engines in, like the car's
I
no
guess
longer.
From your point of view, if you're going to do another project like this, don't invite Sal.
No. Look, one of the kids at home is always his question with any project is when are we supercharging it?
Okay.
So
More
there's
power.
plenty of sales in the world. so
Speed and
they're
power
everywhere.
is a cure to everything.
Yeah, correct.
There's certain cars,
Correct.
Sal. I don't
Sure.
think this car is the car for a supercharged.
Look, it's
12-cylinder
50
car.
horsepower is plenty. That's what it is.
Was it you're honestly driving that car not for the power? I'm
No,
being
no,
honest. You
no.
know, you're driving that for the experience and you know
Correct.
because your dad's got a what's the Lotus he's got, and that's a beautiful
Oh,
little
the Super
car.
7 we did. Yeah.
Yeah, the Super 7.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful little car. And that doesn't have that much power.
No, it's just fun because
And it sounds nice. It's got a little bit
Yes.
of a verbal to it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, like, I get what you're saying. Like, most cars like that, you're not really searching for power.
No.
But you do have a car that does have power.
Yeah, There's I'm very fortunate that I've just come into possession of 84 911, so Carrera 3.2.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
a
colour?
nice car.
It's ruby red.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
which is this burgundy,
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
this little freckles. That
It's
kind of
awesome.
goes
I like
through
it. Really like the ruby red.
And it's a Targa, isn't it?
It is a Targa.
Yes, that's
We like the Targa.
That's
So,
schmick. That's schmick.
yeah, it's. I think we all grew up with. If you think about a sports car, that iconic silhouette of the 911,
yes,
that G
100%.
body.
Yep.
So it was always kind of on the list.
At the heart of where you wanted something.
Of course,
Yeah.
eventually, and again, to our friends at Collecting Cars,
You got it from him.
I was on the hunt for some time, and you know, there's Concourse, of course, which is ridiculously
Concourse
priced
dealers.
in terms of pricing, right, and the variations of what they
Yeah.
are. This is in good condition,
Yep.
but there's a project that will
Oh,
come
so you're
along.
gonna wow.
There's some work that needs to be done as well. It's the rest of the world version, so it's the 230 horsepower, so it's the most powerful that it was at that time.
Yep.
It's the last of the air-cooled of that shape as well. So there's a really nice of the 911. So there's a really nice kind of bit to that.
Definitely.
Again, I find them super unique,
Yeah.
as well in that, in terms of how many of them are running around. And it's paired with the 915 gearbox. So
Did you like the idea that it needed a little bit of work?
I think financially, yes.
Right?
I think that
Financially,
certainly
yes.
helped.
But also after doing the
Yes.
obviously landing, did
Yeah.
you feel that okay? Well, I wouldn't mind
I
taking
think it
this on.
gave you
but
the
I felt-
confidence,
yeah, exactly,
right, to be able to, well, why not? And I think what people get scared of is that it's got a Porsche badge on it. I don't want to do, but it's still a car. It's
Yeah,
still
it's
an
still a
engine.
car.
It's still got a body that you can bend and shape and cut and do all of those
Yeah.
bits to. So why not, right?
So what interior does it have in it?
It's a beige interior.
That is the perfect combo.
Yeah, it's a really nice color.
Ruby red with the beige interior. That's
burgundy carpet throughout.
Wow.
And it's completely stock as it was. But yeah,
So
there's
proper
it's-
period correct in terms of
Oh,
its colour and
everything. No modifications whatsoever. Unmolested, right, to what it is. So
Which is hard to find these days.
That is hard
Yeah.
to find. It's finding the thing is right now if you're trying to collect a car or just trying to get a car to hold on to make money later down the track, it's hard to find a car that has not been molested.
correct.
It's very, very difficult because many performance cars have been, unfortunately.
Yes.
So I'm always on the hunt for an E46 M3 in manual.
Yeah. Unmolested.
You can't. Like they
Keep searching.
most of them are, unfortunately, and the ones that aren't, people want ridiculous money for.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's because you can't find them.
Yeah, but they're a beautiful car. Like I'd love to have one of those in my garage.
Yeah.
An E46 M3 in manual. Oh,
Just patience.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
It'll happen.
You'll find them, and,
Keep
and
your
I
eye
think
out.
yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where my car journey really started, to be honest, was with the 300ZX. So I've got a
Oh, cool.
1990
Yeah, yeah.
300ZX
so you've got a lot of
NA.
old cars. I like this. You've got a lot
Yeah.
of like classic, like
That was kind of a car growing up in our day.
yeah.
Yes.
Most people when they get cars, they get like modern cars. Like, most people have had on the podcast of like modern sports cars, modern supercars.
Yeah.
You've got everything.
Well,
you've
there's a
got
bit of
is classic.
nostalgia to it, and I think I was, so my dad ran an accounting business and I was 8, so it's 1990, I'm 8,
Yeah.
and Dad, I remember him saying, one of his clients has just bought this car, he's driving it over.
Yeah.
So we walk outside and he comes up the driveway, and remembering again, it's 1990.
Yeah, it's 1990.
Yes.
So we got Targa, there's that
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
This guy's got the roof off, and he comes blaring up the street in this car that just defies everything that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the Diablo from the front,
They were
Yes,
wicked
they do,
cars.
they do.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Roof off, power steering,
Yeah.
4-wheel steer,
Yeah.
electric windows, and I'm like, what is happening here? Like, this is unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of took hold. I
Yeah.
was in love with that car from that moment.
Yeah.
And, the unique car magazines and all of that, that was kind of the next
What
5,
about the auto
6, 7
salons?
years. All of those.
did all
Auto
Yes.
salons were
Yes.
So the car is they're known to be complicated to work on.
Yeah.
Have you worked on it?
Yes. Not to the level of the other cars, but I have.
Yeah.
And it is given me the most grief, without question,
Yeah.
for sure. There's
Yeah.
no room in the
So
engine bay.
yeah, so it's right.
Yeah, so it is right.
Yeah. I was trying to defend it, but there's no way
done.
around it.
I just know that car so well, and it's renowned to be the most complicated car that they just make. Like you said, there's no room in the engine bay. They
There's
just
nothing.
shove everything in there.
And this is the naturally aspirated version. So it's the Australian delivered 2+2.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about intercoolers and the turbos in there.
Kind
So
of got
even
the
then,
easier version as
Yeah.
well.
right, but there is no room. So we've done the EGR delete and removed all the 400 different coolant lines for no additional reason.
why?
It's in there. So we've done that. She looked schmick. I did admit this. We did put scissor doors on it.
That is
because-
so.
Look,
That is
this
so
back
auto
then,
salon.
right?
That
you
is
know,
so auto salon.
I've had it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing right after the hunt and doing all of that.
Yeah.
So
that's
put the scissor doors on it. And again, we did that in the garage. So,
Wow. So everything's been done.
yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
You've probably got quite the tooled up or skilled up quite highly now, by sounds, with the amount of car work you've done on.
Sure. Yeah. I think yeah.
Hopefully.
Look, I think so. I think it's as long as it doesn't have to be your daily. That's kind of the thing with me, because it's like, if it doesn't get fixed now, there's no urgency.
Yeah, it can
if we
sit there.
break something,
Yeah, it
then
can
that's
sit there.
No big
okay.
deal.
If it's running a bit rough, then we can just let it go.
So you've got the 300.
Yes.
You've got the Porsche.
Yes.
You've got Land Rover.
Yes.
What else do you have?
The daily is a SQ5.
So it's a good daily car. You've got a cool
You've
daily
got
car.
all the cars.
Well, I like something reliable. I can get in, push a button, and everything's going to work.
I think something that will take the kids around reliably.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
fast.
Of
Yeah,
course.
it's
Because
beautiful.
Remember, speed important.
Yes, I know so. We all know that. Thank you.
That's
And
why when I bought
handling and-
a family car,
Yes.
I had to buy a fast station wagon. I remember buying this.
Yes.
I remember buying. I was like, Nick, I'm going to buy a family car, and he's like, just buy something practical. I go, no, it has to be fast and it has to be fun. And then I'm buying a Skoda RS.
Yeah.
Right, wagon.
Yes.
Which is technically a Mark 7 Golf GTI
Yeah. In disguise.
in a wagon. Yeah. So it's awesome, and I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm for buying like fast cars for the family.
You got to have a bit of chic
You've got to
and
have a bit of
clothing
speed.
kind
You
of
got to
thing.
have something that's disguised as a family car, but
Yeah.
absolutely stupid.
Yeah, you
Still
drop
has
the
fun.
kids off,
Yeah.
right, and then you slap it into the different mode, and away you go.
And away you
Sport
go.
mode.
From there. Yeah,
she's away.
exactly.
I was going to say, any track stuff? Do you want to do anything on the
Oh, yeah.
track?
I haven't. No, and I'm probably scared, to be fair.
Oh.
Yeah, I think.
Scared?
No, tentative. How's that? Is that a more manly kind of
Probably
term to
better.
talk
Yeah,
to?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think because of the 300 at that time, I had a Rex as a daily, and that was probably the one that I should have
Could have done
at that
something.
point,
Yeah,
from a control standpoint, and it was offered style as most of them were at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, we remember. Nick's had an Evo. He had an Evo Tommy Mackinnon.
Yeah, I've had Evos.
Yeah,
I had an
and
Evo
Rexes
6,
and all the
yes.
rest of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
We've
had
all
an Evo 6. We've all had like
Bit of
those
fun in
cars,
those
and
cars.
then I took mine to the skid pan and all that. And
I
they're
need to.
They're the best cars to take to a skid
Yes.
pan because they're the easiest.
Sure.
You just can just hold it and you just.
Well, I think that when I got into the 300, I had a moment one afternoon that I think proved to me that I shouldn't be on the track at that point. You know, because they're super light in the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely super light. And it doesn't have a heap of power. Like, there's been a few little bits that we've done to, there's some extractors and all that, but it's not still,
No.
it's not a power wagon at all. But just tromped it coming around a corner and a little bit of wet, and you know, before you know it, I'm
You're
looking at
spinning and
things
you're
the
going,
wrong way to where I should be.
Yeah.
Pull over and you've got and I
hard going.
thought, all right, you just baby at home,
Yeah.
and then count your lucky
So
stars.
a little bit of poo, and then you
Oh, there was, should we say some puckering to say the least?
Okay.
Yes, there was.
some puckering.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's so. SuitByDay, you got cool cars and it's got everything.
Yeah.
Everything going on with the. I love the SuitByDay.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, how many episodes have come out recently so everyone can know what's the plan going forward? And
We're super new. And when
Right.
I say we, the royal we, sitting right here, we as a channel, so I am very new with it. We're a matter of weeks. I've been talking about it, and I had full support from the family, some other guys who that I work with
Yeah.
that are great content creators in their own right.
Yeah.
They're saying, what are you doing? Because I like capturing all the content anyway.
Yeah.
And they're saying, just do something.
Why not use it? Yeah.
And I think when you were talking about perfection earlier, I think maybe there was a little bit of,
Okay.
well, I'll make it perfect and we'll
Yeah.
wait and we'll wait.
Yeah.
I bit the bullet after meeting you guys, to be
And
fair.
I told you just to go for it.
And so I took your advice.
Awesome.
And so it's just started. There's a few little shorts that are on there, but we're building the long form at the moment.
Yep.
I've got a bank of stuff already
Yeah.
because of taking it, but not putting it into that format.
Yep.
So there's going to be
Bit of a
a
process to
multitude of stuff, and across all the different cars,
Yeah.
which is fantastic, right?
Yep.
To be able to chop and change and talk to. And there's some DIY stuff as well from a home standpoint.
That's cool. See, that's a bit different.
Yeah, so building a pool and put a pool in, myself as well, and like decks around the house. And...
Okay, so what don't you do?
No, I don't do anything.
Jeff
I
builds
tell you what,
pools.
no,
You're a
I don't
jack of all
do-
trades.
I don't do
I was
anything
gonna say,
well.
how's
How's
your
that?
technology?
I do a little bit.
Are you good at IT?
No.
Yes, he's like me.
No.
Bad at tech.
No, absolutely
You
not.
guys are the non-tech.
Yeah, no, terrible
No,
at tech.
that's, no.
Yeah,
No,
I am
can't
terrible
get my
at
head
that. I
around
can't get
most
my head
of
around
that.
it.
That's why I have 3 boys.
Fair.
They sort
probably
me out
all
with
better than-
anything. I was talking to them about the tiki-toki the other day. So it's, so that's kind of the level of where I'm at. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, we're going to get you on a Pride and Joy episode soon, so we're
Yeah,
going
I'd
to
love
get Jeff on
to.
there with a
Love
Land
to.
Rover, and we'll get the Porsche too, if you're happy with that.
Of course, absolutely.
But other than that, thank you so much for coming on.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Really enjoyed it. Guys, if you want to check out Jeff's channel, it'll just be below. So go check out the Instagram, everything we do down there. And again, thank you so much.
No, pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Other than that, guys, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on another episode of the Murder Marvel podcast.